So we did a structure revision shortly thereafter because I really wasn't clear with all the things that was happening, so I thought we need to revisit this. We kept the diocesan model, so we still are a diocese, but the diocese idea changed from what Archbishop Burns had. The vision for expansion was contracted. What do I mean by that? We didn't have the resources to deal with what goes on in the world. We just don't have the people, don't have the manpower, don't have the money, don't have the time. So that affiliated worldwide jurisdiction stuff ended. We don't have that right now. Our territory encompasses mostly, it's basically the United States and its territories. Puerto Rico, Philippines, not the Philippines, Samoa, some of those places out there. We can do a little of Canada and a little bit of Mexico, but that's it. I'm not looking to make a big deal here because we just don't have the resources.
Do we still have that priest down in Maryland?
Haven't heard from him. Pakistan left too. We don't know what happened to him. One day, after all the wars that were going on, never heard from him again. So God forbid, hopefully he wasn't killed or he just kind of disappeared or left Pakistan. But I have never heard from him and haven't been able to get in touch with him for years. So I don't know what happened to that individual. So we contracted and we're now focusing just on our backyard, so to speak. The nomenclature remained. Because one of the things that can happen, just as there is when there's a pontific change with the Pope, everything basically at that point, when the switchover happens, can be nullified with the new Pope. The same thing happens with us. Canonically, I can say, we're starting over, starting everything. Well, I kept a few things and I changed a few others. So that's why we're doing that. The one diocese now, the Diocese of the Holy Cross. So for all of the Holy Family people who are asking, what's our diocese? That's it. Diocese of the Holy Cross. And they ask, well, what's that encompass? The entire United States. How does that happen? Because we're structured that way. And you'll learn more about independent Catholicism tomorrow, so you can understand and be able to explain to everyone how that happens. But I know this has been a question. One diocese is the Diocese of the Holy Cross.
Do we have a date for that? Is there a date?
Yeah, I have that in the paperwork. It was shortly after. We were still all together, weren't we, when we made this happen? So it was right around early April, or late April, because we all met in one of my hotel suites and decided to hammer some of this stuff out, because I had all the administration there. It made the most sense at that point. I wasn't going to call everyone back again to make all this happen. It's sad to say that it's best to do business when we're all together. Even in times of mourning, we're all huddled. It's like, well, I hate to say this, guys, but we need to work on this stuff. Provinces, we replaced those with deaneries, so that province model went away. Why? Because under a diocesan model, provinces don't exist. Provinces work in his world, in religious life, but not in a diocesan setup. That's why I could never understand the province idea, other than the fact that Larry had an affinity for orders, or with religious life, because that was where his formation was. So we replaced it with the nomenclature that Rome is familiar with, which are deaneries. Okay? Because within the Roman structure, there's deaneries within the archdiocese. I don't know what deanery you guys are part of here in Austin, but that's how that works. And in each deanery, there's a vicar. Well, we just expanded that whole idea. You can barely read it, but it's a curial revision. So I also took the step and decided, let's look at the entire church. And thanks to my chancellor in Maryland, Father Chris, this is what we came up with. Pretty flow chart.
And that is Archbishop.
Yeah, I'm completely blank. Just staring into oblivion. But that's what it looks like. The presiding Archbishop oversees everything. That's the way we always wanted it. That's the way I wanted it, because I've learned over the years with independent Catholicism, if one person doesn't have all control, it gets messy very quickly.
I do believe I have a copy of that flow chart, so if anybody's interested in it, and you also have a
Yeah.
copy, I can get it. I can get it to anybody's name and if you're like that. Just let me, I'll take some notes on that.
So, as part of this whole chain of things, obviously we don't have a synod of bishops or an auxiliary bishop at this point. Haven't gotten that far. I hope my health is still in good shape. That's why I lost 75 pounds, so I will be here a lot longer. We have our Vicar General and Chancellor, which is Chris. Audrey is my secretary. I'm kind of the archivist and historian at the moment. There's an assistant to the Vicar and General and Chancellor. I don't know if that's you or not. Yeah, I took the names out because things have changed again.
I
But-
think that's, I'm still.
Yeah, so it's time, it's part of, I've got this later on another slide, as part of our strategic plan. It's time to revisit some of this stuff. It's been, how many years? 5, 6 years now.
I'd say closer to 7.
And you can see the rest of the offices. Some are vacant. Anybody interested, you can talk at some other point. But you can see this is not just for now. It's for expansion as well. So that's why we have all of this. I know we've talked with Don about being part of the clergy board, and I finally got someone to actually do that, so I'm not doing it anymore, and they don't charge me an arm and a leg. We don't have a development yet because that's another thing that still needs to work on. So, I mean, we've got plenty of things to still fill in the blanks for, but that's just the vision as well. We just want to keep the idea that we have this so we can fill it when we have need. Now, we did have a second contraction. It happens. Just these things happen. And I figured it would because Archbishop Harm's death, some people were there for him. It's fine. I don't have a problem with that. That happens all the time. If you think about it in the Roman world, parish priest leaves, what happens? They go with him. They don't stay. That's okay. That's what happens. It's human nature. There were changes in the style and expectations. My leadership style is very different from Archbishop Harm's. And then we lost 8 clergy in 6 days. That was okay. I mean, I kind of saw the handwriting on the wall after a few months. And that was another reason why, if you notice the date, 2013, right after all this happened in early 2012, yeah, we made changes, but I slowly rolled them out. We had talked about it at the meeting, but we didn't purposefully put it out there for a period of time. Because we needed to just, whoa, what happened? Breathe. Yes, we had to breathe. Because, unfortunately, I won't do this, I promise you all who were here. But Archbishop Harms made it very clear that no one was to know he was sick. No one. Except for a few people. And it wasn't until he was really going downhill that I said, we gotta say something because it's not going to be good. That my next information blob out there is that, hey, he's not here anymore. That's not going to go well. And so he finally relented, and the news started to leak out. Not leak out, but I sent it out. But by then, you know, it was just, When in essence, if we had communicated it sooner, it might not have been as big of a shock. So I learned my lesson there too. What I'm getting at is with all the things that we've been through in these 17 years so far, or 18 years, we learn from the mistakes that we've made. And try not to duplicate them again. I've been and seen quite a few of them, and I've made a few myself, but the idea is you recover from them. You move forward from them. You don't sit there and go, okay, well, move on and make them again. Just don't do that. It's not healthy.